what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
This podcast is sponsored by the 2019 Foot Candle Film Festival. This year's festival will be held September 27th through the 29th in Hickory, North Carolina. Learn more by visiting footcandlefilmfestival.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Street Circle Drive, the Hickory-centric podcast here on themesh.tv. Glad you've joined us today. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Mary Margaret.
Hi.
Hello, Mary Margaret. I'm trying to get your intro voice.
Yes. Welcome to Street Circle Drive.
The Mesh.
Yes. Well,
sexy podcast.
You know, somebody's got to do it. It's
When
not,
you got the
can't
screen in
leave
front of
it
your
to you
microphone,
guys.
it just
So
adds
I
to
don't
the...
spit on it.
Yes,
right.
there you go.
But,
Peace.
yes. Somebody has to be the inviting, intriguing one here. Can't leave it to you
Nailed
guys.
it.
To leave it to you,
At
jokers.
least it's not TV.
This is true. This is true. We have all found our calling on the microphone. Well, it is a lovely hot day outside. Wrapping up the end of June here. You've almost made it to the hottest part of the summer. Congratulations.
And we passed the other part in May, so...
So, hope you guys have been doing well, but we have the perfect summer episode today.
I think so.
No, I think so.
I think so.
I know so. Who was that chiming in? That was our special guest for the day. It is Tracy Hall, the newly crowned executive director of the Catawba Science Center. Yay. Although she is not new to the area, just switching roles a little bit.
Well, not new to the mesh.
That's right. That's right. Some of you may remember her from Education Matters, another show over on the Mesh, but since has moved on to some new adventures, and we can't wait to hear about what's going on at the Science Center. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're back. You've been in office. I was about to say in office.
Yes.
Like
Congratulations on your term.
on your vote in. Yeah. You have been in this position since April?
April 1st.
April 1st. So how's it going?
It is going great. It's a great time of year at the Science Center. We have our Summer Fun Science Camps going on. We have one of our most popular featured exhibits called Flutterby, where we have 42 species of butterflies live in our courtyard area. It's all netted, so you can come in and there's lots of plants, and you get a little nectar on your finger, and the butterflies land on you, and
it's a fantastic.
It's just wonderful. Kids love it. People of all age love it, and we have lots of visitors because of it. So we've got a lot of great things going on.
Lots of stuff happening over there.
Yes.
Now, I know the guys have some questions as well, but I did want to touch on. Tell us why the position spoke to you. Why did you want this position, and how did it come about?
Well, so I did work at the Science Center years ago when I very first moved to Hickory. It was my first job here. I was the Director of Development and Marketing and worked with our Science Center Guild to do the Italian Dinner, which is in its 33rd year now. I was able to do a lot of the marketing and membership drives and all that sort of thing, and loved working at the Science Center. I left the Science Center because the superintendent of Hickory Public Schools, Dr. Van Dett, needed a public information officer and kind of wooed me over to the school system. And then from there, I transitioned into a role where I worked for all three school systems in our area at Catawba Valley Community College, doing Education Matters. What's so wonderful about the Science Center is it's kind of the front end of the pipeline. And so in my previous role, my job was to connect kids to careers and businesses in our area. We did a big focus on science careers because we've got a lot of manufacturing. Science, technology, engineering, math is evident in many aspects of business, whatever type of business you have. And so the Science Center, when this position came available, I thought I've done what I've done with Education Matters. I was kind of in a place where I wasn't sure if it was going to grow, and this would give me an opportunity to kind of be at the front end of the pipeline, the career pipeline, to get kids interested in science in a fun, hands-on, informal way.
Absolutely.
So, Tracy, just I know you guys have different traveling exhibits that come through the Science Center all the time, and I know the Flutterby, correct, is there right now. What's coming up? What should we be looking forward to?
Well, gosh, all right. So the summer is just jam-packed full. We're, in addition to doing exhibits, we also are doing some special programming that hasn't been done before. There is one thing that we're working on right now. We're working on a grant with the Corning Foundation. Hopefully we're going to hear soon, but we want to create a slime zone in the Inventors Workshop where we could do programming with engineers from Corning. Corning participated in the extreme STEM tours that I did in my previous job, and on those tours they would make polymers with students. They would make slime. It's just a perfect marriage, and that area is kind of boring right now, not utilized. So we're looking at doing something with that area. We have a program called Parrot Pals. I don't know if you all are familiar with Kiki's Legacy. We have a parrot rescue on Tate Boulevard in our area. It's not open to the public, but there's a great need for people to adopt parrots. They have a really long life, and people just aren't aware. They're beautiful birds, but they take a lot of work. So 3 times during the summer, we've got Courtney Gates and Rhonda Queen coming to present and showcase these birds. So live demonstrations, talking about what the care that's involved, and parrots just tie in beautifully with summer anyway. We've had our first one, and we had a huge crowd. There's probably about 100 people gathered around that came specifically that day. So bringing in special programs, I think, is really important. We do have an exhibit area called Raceways that at the end of August, beginning of September, will change over to Velocity. It's Velo-City, but Velocity, where it will have an industrial look, but similar kinds of science hands-on applications. We have, I don't know if you've ever heard of BattleBots.
Yes.
Have you heard of BattleBots? Have you ever watched that on TV? So we've got a competition August 16th and 17th that will happen right here in Hickory at the Science Center. US Connect is our big sponsor for that. And people are coming from all over the country. We've got, I'm not sure the exact number of teams, but it's in the high 20s, I believe. But I know that there's teams coming from all over the Eastern Seaboard, and then also there is a team from California. Very cool. So people will be there competing, but then it will also be open to the public to be able to come in and watch that competition. So we hope that we'll get a great turnout for that.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That sounds
really
like
cool.
It's got a full calendar. And I know you guys have all kinds of summer camps and all that stuff coming up for kids. Is how is that going on right now?
That is going on right now. We still have. Beyond this week, we still have 8 more weeks. There's a total of 11 weeks that we have, and it's well attended. We have programs from preschool age all the way through rising 9th graders. The rising 9th graders go out and do kind of some adventures. I know that the older group just went out and did a water quality testing, and they went out on a boat on Lake Hickory and had a really, really great experience with that. So, our science program and what you get for the value of what it costs is incredible. I know my children participated in the Science Center camps growing up, and they told me that when there were those end-of-course tests in 5th grade or whatever the grade levels were, that they had heard the science words, they had dissected cow's eyes and sharks, and they had done so many things that they were really aware of the scientific words and what they really meant because they'd had those hands-on experiences. So,
and having that buffer, when kids are immersed in science, they might not get any sort of, science, basically anything throughout the summer or continuing learning throughout the summer. So I'm sure it's, super important for those kids to have some sort of buffer zone. And
right. Well, summer loss is a real thing.
Yeah,
when students go through that summer loss that's why you always encourage reading and. I always try with my kids at least to do some sort of enriching camp or something along that line because it is a real issue. That's why some of the school systems in North Carolina have gone to the year-round schedule because then you're chopping it up a little bit more. And trying to help in
and
that.
schools are facing such deficits and cuts in their budget that even in science classes, it's expensive to do those kinds
Absolutely.
of experiments and do those hands-on applications. So, often, they're using textbooks or, multimedia to learn about things, but may not get some of the experiences that we can provide at the Science Center.
Well, that actually brings up a good point, because I was going to ask, it's kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
Tell us about membership and what somebody could expect for what they're paying.
Right.
What are they going to get? Okay. But then tell us a little bit more about why people should become members.
Okay, absolutely. So membership gets you in anytime, year-round. You pay the one fee. Right now it's $75 for a family. At $100, it's we call it a patron level, where it's a family plus one. So if you have a babysitter or a grandparent or somebody that you wanted to come, it's unlimited access to the Science Center. And that's for a year. You also get discounts on special programs like our camp programs, special classes that we have. We have trips that we do that are even out of the area with Bruce Bierbauer. You get discounts on all of those things. We have partners with Delishi, Pelican, Groucho's. We're just bringing Atlanta Bread on. So that with your membership card, you can actually go to these places and get discounts locally.
Nice.
And we're hoping to even grow that further. One of the great aspects is that if you're a member of the Science Center, you're part of Aztec, which is the Association for Aztec. It's Science Technology Centers. And so you can go to other science centers in other areas at no cost. There is something that with local science centers, we've got Discovery Place. When you're in a 90-mile proximity, they can choose whether they want to honor that or not, because they're worried that people might get a cheaper Science Center membership at one place so that they can come to the one that they live close to. But we're getting ready to go to Colorado this week, and I'm already looking to see if there's a Science Center in Denver that we can visit while I'm there.
Absolutely.
And some of the places are even in other countries, so it really gives you access when you're traveling and when you're going other places. So
That's very cool. So why is this important in this community? Why is this something that people should do, not just because it's a fun activity to do, but
right.
What are some key points of why your family should be engaged in something like
sure.
this?
Well, I think we're now in a society where we're in front of a TV or we're in front of technology for long periods of time. Having let's get out as a family and go experience things. And again, everything at the Science Center is hands-on, great programming, exhibits. You can learn, you can interact with your family and your children. I just think it's a great experience. When you walk through and you see people experiencing these things together, it's just really meaningful and really important, I think.
And it's not just the proper building there. We've got the aquarium and the planetarium, which are all a part of it. So,
Absolutely.
when it comes to discounts or coming in for admission and stuff, you get to go to the aquarium things with it too.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge hit.
We also, when you're at the Salt Block, you are also at the Hickory Museum of Art. And so, we would love for anyone that's coming to visit the Science Center to also go visit the Hickory Museum of Art. We've got the Choral Society, the Western Piedmont Symphony. We've got partners there that we're all working together with the Salt Block Foundation and the United Arts Council, Patrick Beaver Library. That's what the Salt Block stands for, is Science, Arts, Literature Together. And so what a great place to go to experience all kinds of really wonderful things.
Absolutely. We've talked so much about the Salt Block in itself and how important it is to this community. McNally, quick question. What is your favorite thing to do at the Science Center?
Well, I have to mesh all the aquarium, especially any of the water exhibits.
Yes.
And I've got kids right in the wheelhouse, but I take advantage of it too. So
Yeah.
it's going in there and looking at the sharks and the stingrays and the turtles and the hermit crabs and all those wonderful things. I mean, any of that hands-on, the kids just love it, and
Absolutely.
then I get to blame the kids, but I love it too.
Well, you know what I love, but I love, but I don't love, is when you first get in the Science Center, the animal room to your right, that is... all those
and-
pelts. Yes, exactly. But then there's the big turtle in there.
Yep.
I don't remember his name.
Yep. Seymour and Pedro.
Yes.
They're awesome.
They are awesome.
Yeah.
I could watch those turtles for hours. And I love it when they have food in there, that like the lettuce and stuff, and they sit there and eat, and they got these big mouths. Anyway, and there's a giant moose on the wall.
There certainly is.
There is.
Yeah.
And we
Moose,
got a
what's your
little
favorite
moose
thing-
in studio.
Hey,
I
Moose,
know.
you could sponsor the Moose.
Speaking
I
of moose,
could.
what's your favorite thing about the Science Center,
That's a
Moose?
great segue there, Mary Margaret.
Yeah, I was trying.
I'm so proud of you for that. I like the planetarium. I like the rock and roll laser events you guys have there. Those are really cool. I've seen Pink Floyd there a couple times. Not the Pink Floyd, but Pink Floyd recordings with the planetarium. I think that's fantastic. It's a different crowd out there, I'm sure.
That's typically a sellout show, right?
Right.
At the planetarium.
We call those our after dark events.
After
Yeah.
dark
Science
events.
After dark.
I'm a
Something
big fan.
for every age group over
That's
there.
right.
Exactly right.
Are any of those coming up soon?
Actually, we just had one, but there will be another one coming. We are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11
cool.
landing on
Very
July
cool.
20th. That wasn't something I mentioned, but we're going to do a Pink Floyd show, Dark Side of the Moon, either the night before or 2 nights before, somewhere right in the range of that.
That's great.
As part of that celebration.
That's
Awesome.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Find out all about that stuff on the website.
Another
I'm
little
sure.
a little thing to be aware of is I loved the movie Bohemian Rhapsody.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people did. Queen is coming to Charlotte with Adam Lambert. The tickets are quite expensive, very, very expensive, actually. And so I asked around, is there a Queen laser light show that we could show for maybe people who couldn't get tickets to the actual concert? And we are getting a Queen show. It should arrive sometime mid-July, and we'll have to test it out, make sure it works. But either the end of July, beginning of August, there will be a Queen show.
Nice.
Bravo.
Nice.
That is awesome.
Well, keep us
Yeah.
posted, and we'll advertise it
We'll
here
put that out
for our
there,
events,
yeah.
for sure.
So I think this is an important question and something that has to be addressed. What does the Science Center need? What is we always tell people, oh, go to the website or go, become a member, volunteer, that stuff, at any of the locations. But what's the Science Center in need? It's a nonprofit.
It is a nonprofit.
Right.
Exactly. So we do need volunteers. We want to increase our memberships. We want school programming to be scheduled in our schools to come. One of the things at the Science Center, we've always had permanent exhibits and featured exhibits. So a featured exhibit is an exhibit that comes every 3 months and changes out, and we get sponsors for that. It's very, very expensive to get featured exhibits.
Is that like the butterflies?
That would be like butterflies.
the dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs.
That was a huge one.
Yes. American Adventure.
Yes.
There's been different ones, because that changes all of the time. So there's always something new at the Science Center. The expense for those is great. They can range, kind of a low-end one could be $40,000 for 3 months, or it can go up well over $100,000 for an exhibit. And like a dinosaurs or some of
Yeah.
those bigger ones are in that high range. And that's a lot of fundraising that needs to be
Absolutely.
done. So one thing with being new in this position, excited to come back to the Science Center, I noticed that a lot of the areas that are the permanent exhibits haven't changed in recent years. And so we're kind of taking a focus on looking at all the different areas, doing some new cool projects. We've got a solar tree project that we're going to be working on. I've got an artist, Jeff Kiefer with CVCC, is going to be doing the sculpture, and we're bringing people in maybe from the other CVCC programs that have a little connection there.
Yes, you do.
So that's something that's going to be something that would be outside. We are looking to refurbish the Inventors Workshop, update Gross Labs. There's another year of our contract with Gross Labs with all of our sponsors, but I'd like to keep a health related exhibit in that area, but maybe feature nutrition and wellness, because I think people are really interested in that right now. There's always talk of, what's the secret, the magic, pill to take to lose weight. And if we could just help people understand better nutrition and understand.
Yeah.
that this
McNally,
will
would
be-
you like to help with that?
I think I'm a model of fitness and svelteness here in studio, so you're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. And then even the aquarium and the planetarium, which the aquarium is our showstopper, no question.
Yeah.
I would like to expand that area, but the tanks that are in there are 12 years old. They're all becoming outdated. We definitely need to start refurbishing some of that, but I'd also like to grow that area. And so we're working with Davidson Community College. They've got an exhibit in an aquarist program. And so they've already spoken with them, and they're going to come in, maybe do an assessment of stages that we can follow. The planetarium is fantastic. We've just had the seats redone. We've been working on the infrastructure, but the big thing coming is our projector. The projector is outdated. The software, the computers that run it are outdated, and so we're looking at that. That's going to be a big project. Can you guys even guess what a projector in a science center might cost?
I don't want to.
expensive.
I don't want to guess. I know.
Our friends from Rigid AV back there might be able to help you.
They're giving me a thumbs up. They know. Do you guys want to contribute? Because I need you. I need everybody.
They know exactly how much.
They know a guy at least.
They know a guy. Yes.
How much you got?
So we're looking at the range of $350,000
For the projector.
I'm sorry.
for the
Not to rebuild
projector.
the whole
I'm
building,
sorry.
right?
Did you say $350,000
for the projector.
That's a lot of Italian dinners.
That's a lot of Italian dinners.
That's a lot
so-
of fish tank touches.
Yes, and so but things get outdated. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't help that. And even the companies that supported our aquarium tanks and all of the infrastructure behind the aquarium are no longer in business. Same with the projector. The company that we get the bulbs from and that we got the projector from, no longer in business. So, it's not something that we can still Band-Aid because you can't even get the parts that you need. So we really have to take a look at that in the upcoming years. Or really in the upcoming year, that's going to be a big focus. One of the ways that I'm hoping to do that is, again, focusing on our permanent areas in this next year and maybe doing some partnerships. I'm going to work with the Hickory Aviation Museum.
Which we love, by the way.
I love them too. I was so lucky to get a call that they have a drone. Now, when I say drone, does anyone have an idea of what I might be talking about?
I know what a drone is.
It's going to start delivering our packages.
No. So the future of flight, according to the folks at the Hickory Aviation Museum, is unmanned flights. And so they have a Boeing Hummingbird A160 drone. It's huge. And it can't be outside, so they can't have it be a part of their exhibit. So they've approached me to see if we would be willing to partner with them and host an exhibit in our Carpenter Hall, which is our large space that we have typically the featured exhibits that change over. And so we're looking at doing the future of flight, because people think drone, the small aerial cameras, delivering packages, but this is something on a larger scale.
So this is like a plane.
This is like a helicopter is what it looks like, but it would be unmanned. Boeing created this for the military.
Nope for me. Big no for me. Not getting in something that doesn't have the person flying it.
Right. So this was created by Boeing, the Hummingbird, and the military chose not to use this particular model, but it's a model that was created that the military was taking into consideration to use as like a spy plane.
Wow.
So super cool.
That is super cool.
Not every day that you can.
I'll look at it.
That.
I'll go look at it, but I'm not
look
going
at
to
it.
fly.
We're hoping to create some cool things with paper airplanes to, and air. If you're flying something and how much air pressure has to be, and helping people understand other components of flight. But kind of the focus will be on the future of flight. And we may do some things with drones. We may do some things with the model airplane clubs. We may do some things where we go out and do some tours at the airport. Have you ever been up in the control tower? Super cool to get to do that. So
that's awesome.
We're hoping to tie all of that into that exhibit. And because that will be done, and we still need some sponsors because we're going to have to print a lot of information and there's going to be some cost to it. But it's not going to cost us $60,000,
right.
Like renting something that we would bring in typically.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of work on our staff, though, because we have to create it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's going to be super cool.
Well, where can everybody keep up with what's happening at the Science Center and what's to come.
Okay, well, we have a newsletter that we put out monthly. If you're a member, you automatically get signed up for it, but you can also access it and sign up for it, whether you're a member or not, on our website, which is CatawbaScience.org. And so we hope you'll visit that. We've got information about all of our summer camps and membership and other events and happenings, our school information. All of that is on our website as well.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Tracy, for coming in and giving us a quick update on everything happening over at the Science Center. We obviously all love it. I know McNally and I have kids that are, big fans of the area. So thank you so much for everything you guys are doing over there. And keep us posted on all the events as they happen. I'll give you a little shout out on here.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much.
Tracy did go eat lunch with us today, so hopefully you'll stick around while we wrap up our events and get to our famous food review. Moose,
Hey.
what you got on the calendar?
Well, there's a few things coming up to do in our area. Just to start from the top, here at the Hickory Metro Convention Center and Visitors Bureau, on July 13th, there's a couple really cool events going on. Inside Pitch Promotions toy shows happening, so it's kind of like a little Comic-Con, but with figurines, things like that. You can check out that at visit hickorymetro.com. Also, the same day is the Hickory Bird Fair, so maybe you can go check out some He-Man figures and go get some spicy bird food.
Spicy bird food.
That is a thing.
Works in Hickory. It does.
Yeah. So if you have a full bird feeder and they're not coming, put some spicy stuff in there. They'll come check it out. At the Hickory Community Theater right now, this is a mouthful. Now showing is the Farndale Avenue Housing Estate Townswomen's Guild Dramatic Society Murder Mystery, and it's running July 12th through the July 28th. You can check out all the events that are coming to the Hickory Community Theater at hickorytheater.org, and check that out on the internet. You can find it there on that website. Some other events that are happening. The Sweet Leaf Map Festival is happening July 5th, and that's going to be at the Hickory Motor Speedway. That's all things hemp and cannabis related. All the CBD stuff, all that good stuff you can find out at that festival. And it is actually the weekend of July 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Hickory Motor Speedway. Of course, don't forget about all the great music stuff that's coming back to Hickory in September. Fingers crossed for the sales to be open then and all the construction being done.
Yes.
The sales series returns in September 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th, every Friday at 6:30 downtown. We're looking forward to our downtown opening back up for business. Not that it's not open for business now, but the sales and all that good
Getting
stuff.
back up on the square officially.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, though, downtown's definitely open for business.
It is
so
open
if
for
anybody
business.
wants to get up there and go shopping and stuff, what's neat is that a lot of these businesses I've seen have these little sidewalk sales and discounts going on because of the construction. And Charlie Granger's had a line outside of it the other day.
Perfect.
And that's great. So definitely encourage everyone to still continue utilizing downtown. The Children's Park is a fabulous place right now with summer and the water features on and stuff. So anyway, very cool.
And of course, don't forget Hickory Crawdads are playing all summer. You can check out all the game schedule on their website. And something that's happening at LP Friends that's not Crawdad related. The USA national team is playing Cuba on July 2nd, which is Tuesday. And man, that'll be great to see. That's something fun for the area, and
very cool.
Make sure you take your kids out to that. We'll have this podcast out by then. If you didn't, I hope you had a great time. So, yes, McNally,
Yes,
USA.
sir.
You want to do it together?
USA.
USA. Okay, that's all right.
America.
All right.
July 4th.
Hello, this is Chris from the Foot Candle Film Podcast. Are you interested in promoting your business to an online audience? Your ad could be right here. Consider advertising on the Mesh Podcast Network. Head over to themesh.tv for details.
So, where do we eat today, man?
So today's adventures in food took us to the Standard Oyster Company in Viewmont.
We've been going fancy these last couple episodes.
Breaking it.
No kidding.
Not because of the advertisements rolling in. I mean, unless it's just you guys hogging it all. We need to get some comp lunches. We need to start looking that up.
Somebody needs to start telling us.
Some comp apps. Let's just start with apps.
I want to be invited back.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, when the comp lunches start.
Just be I think restaurants out there should be aware that if they don't start offering some lunches for us, then we could pretty much say whatever we want to do.
We have closed restaurants before.
Yep.
We have closed 2 restaurants officially at this point, so
Yeah, I don't take responsibility for one.
I'm proud of one of them. Yes.
I guess after this podcast, I can find more about that.
We like to believe we closed down the Crazy Grill. Just throwing that out there.
I don't know if we like to believe it. I mean,
I do.
there's people that have hardworking folks.
Our
they
tens
have
of
their new
listeners
restaurant.
definitely thought.
Oh, okay.
They have a new restaurant.
And then Sonny's, but we had no
We had
responsibility for
no
that.
business with
That was
Sonny's.
just that was just a time.
They were just tired.
We have people with pitchforks, pitchforks and torches. If we were
And that
responsible
was
for
our first
closing
ever
down
review,
Sonny's.
and we gave them. That was a good review.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So today, Standard Oyster Company in Viewmont, next to Granny's Kitchen, down from
Subway and We
Subway,
Cycle.
Utterly Delicious, across from Dante's. You know where I'm talking about.
Of course.
So they only have lunch on Fridays and Saturdays. So that's
Correct.
one reason why we're recording this on a Friday. So Friday they have lunches from 11 to 4. And Friday and Saturday. So we went and checked that out. I'd been there before for dinner. I think
I've been there
everybody's
for
been
dinner.
Moose, you've been there before.
I've been there a couple times.
Okay.
I've not been
I've
there
been
for
there
lunch,
for
though.
the dollar oysters.
Of course,
Hey,
yes.
hey.
Yes, I have.
And special and happy hour, I am sure.
Yeah, I say, and a few beers.
Yes.
So today we went there for lunch. I was pretty impressed with the lunch menu. It's a specified lunch menu, but it looks very similar to a lot of the dinner offerings. So I started off with the, it was promoted to me by Mary Margaret, but I started off with the baked oyster sampler, which came with 2 Rockefeller baked oysters,
Yum.
2 garlic butter baked oysters,
Yum.
and 2 pimento fried, which I've never had before. I had the other 2 before. Pimento fried. It's a good mix of oysters and the South. And then I also had the taco trifecta, which was smoked salmon taco, whitefish taco, shrimp taco, served with French fries. Yeah, just the usual. Had some French fries or something on the side.
Yeah. Waffle fries, they were.
The oysters were awesome. I enjoyed Mary Margaret, thank you very much for
You're
that
welcome.
for that intro. I enjoyed all of that and did not share them. And the taco trifecta was very good. It was a little. The only thing I would say was lacking some sort of like salsa, not salsa, or whether it was a pineapple. There was just nothing. They were dry. They were good.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It was just missing that one little
Like a
thing.
pico or something.
Yeah, that just took
Yeah.
it the distance for me.
Yeah.
But they were still very good, reasonably priced. Really enjoyed this, and I'm on a health kick, so I just had water to drink.
Good for you.
Nothing to report there.
I was so proud of you. Mm-hmm. Nice.
My doctor, this is the end of week 1 of no soda or sweet tea. One of these days, I'm going to curb back the portion control.
Hey.
But not today. Standard Oyster Co.
Not today, Standard Oyster.
I was thinking you were going to be like throwing back a shot or something.
Well, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm not
I-
saying it has.
Say, I traveled to Germany with you.
Last time we drank at lunch at this podcast, I had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, we learned our lesson.
There's rules now.
Yes, we went axe throwing and drank at lunch, which meant Moose sliced his lip open with an
did.
axe.
It's better now.
Oh my god!
Whatever.
If there's wondering
It's
at
just-
home, it is better now.
Yes. Anyway.
As good as it's going to get.
I know.
How dare you?
Jeez. So I also had the baked oyster sampler because it's fantastic. Just the right amount because there's only 6 of them. And I love oysters. So I figured if I'm going to go with lunch, let's get the baked and play that safe. Then I also had a small side salad portion of kale salad. And then I had a cup of the crab bisque, which I loved. That crab bisque was good. It was super, super homemade. Like you could tell. Nice little chunks of crab in there, but the broth was very thin and it was good.
Did it taste like Granny made it? Get it?
We get it. No, it just reminds me because my dad, like what I think most dads I've heard of, my dad's really good at making breakfast. Okay. Breakfast was always his meal. But the one thing he made whenever my mom was out of town is that he would ask her to buy at the store the stuff for oyster stew. And that's what he made, was homemade oyster stew. And I grew up eating that. Anytime my mom was gone, that's what I knew we were having. And this tasted like that, the way it was made, that consistency and freshness. And it was just really good. This was just crab bisque. So highly recommend that. And the kale salad was nice. I too had water.
Thumbs up to health.
Thank you.
Health and wellness, y'all. That's what we're all about.
It's the future of the Science Center in that exhibit area I was talking about.
Exactly. See, we're already prepping for it.
They're getting ready.
Moose, what you have?
Well, I went the pick 3 option. On the menu, you could. There's a couple different things you can do. This option, I've got it up. The options are pick 2 for $7, pick 3 for $11, and your choices are garden salad, kale slaw, shrimp taco, fish taco, half a quesadilla, red potatoes, grit cakes, or a couple of the delicious soup Mary Margaret was talking about. So I went with the shrimp taco, fish taco, and the grit cakes. All 3 were great. That a little sparse on the protein, but you expect that for a taco at lunch. You know,
I agree.
Like two shrimp on the taco, a little piece of fish on the fish taco.
But the tacos weren't the biggest. I mean, if you were really housing it, it'd be at least 3 bites. So that means it was tough. I agree.
Right.
You're lacking.
But the grit cakes made up for it because it was huge. Like it was a very big portion. Two big grit cakes stacked up on top of one another with this. Say it for me.
Remoulade.
The remoulade sauce, yeah. It was fantastic. The real good price point for lunch. I thought, you get a bunch of food for less than $15. So I big fan of that. The decor in that place is fantastic. The bar is like almost like a Z type shape. So
right,
yeah, I thought it was cool.
What did you have to eat, Tracy?
I also went with the pick 3. And so just like following Mary Margaret's looking at that crab bisque, oh my God, it was delicious.
So good.
It was so good. And there's like lots of little small chunks of crab in it. And it was delicate and buttery and creamy. I don't think it was a Weight Watcher type.
We had water, Tracy.
Okay. I was trying to be so good. But oh my God, I could have eaten probably 3 bowls of that.
Yeah.
It was delicious. I'll think about it again and want it again.
Yes.
I also had the kale salad, and it was really good. It had lots of, I think there was edamame in it. There were other lentils and sunflower seeds, and it was really, really good. I'm not sure if it was a raspberry vinaigrette on it. I think so. And then I had the fish taco, and I really liked the fish taco, but until McNally over here mentioned that there should have been a little pico de gallo in there or something, I was like, that's what it was missing.
Stick with me, kid.
Listen, I like eating out with McNally. We've had some times together.
We do too. This is the guy that he'll navigate.
I know what's up. You don't get to looking like this. It's in my first rodeo.
So anyway.
This buddy wasn't with my water.
I also had water. I didn't know what the protocol was, and I was watching what everyone else was doing, and they were all having water, so I thought, well,
Gotta save it for 5 o'clock, Tracy. Come on. It's a work week.
It's Friday. I leave on vacation after the podcast.
That's true. It is.
Can we discuss 2 things? One, the decor.
Yeah.
Which Moose was talking about. You did. And 2 is the fact that this stuff's so much better when you get their cocktails involved, because their cocktails are fantastic.
I mean, it's cool because I think part of that is just the way the restaurant's laid out with, everything is the bar.
Yes.
So, the staff's great, but it's a community seating at the bar, and it's a pretty
very
decently
comfortable.
stocked
Very
bar.
comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. And like Moose is saying, whether it's the Z-E shaped where everybody can kind of sit around, talk to the people you're with, but you're also communal. You're sitting next to strangers, or unless you're Tracy, and then there is no such thing as a stranger. But I think all of that blends into itself. I didn't even know this was open for lunch until Moose looked this up for a possibility for us to do this. So it's definitely in the evenings. It's got a pretty good crowd.
They typically have live music there.
Yeah, on Thursday nights, I believe. Yeah.
Yep, they have a different special every day. You can have that up on the chalkboard up there. Okay. They list the oyster locations, where they're from, and then what to expect whenever you get that oyster. Like today, I pointed out to Moose that there was one that was large and salty. That's how they described it.
I'll be the judge of that.
Large and salty.
All right. Well, and they do have dollar oysters.
Yes.
So there are specials from 12 to 2. And so you can go in, and what's amazing, just like tasting beer or tasting wine or tasting different categories, there's dramatic differences in the taste. And what's funny is the way they describe it's pretty accurate.
Yeah. There's one that was clean and salty, and then large and salty. And there's another that was small and salty.
Interesting.
So that's like my kind of
place. They're from different sides of the coast and different areas. And
farmed versus, going out.
The trouble is that if you are drinking their cocktails and beers while you're eating those dollar oysters, all of a sudden you want to get even more adventurous.
You go 1 for 1? Yeah.
Well, and then you don't go 1 for 1, no.
Okay, sorry.
No, but you, all of a sudden you can sit there for 2 hours and rack up quite a bill. You got to be careful.
Well, it's a fun communal way to eat, too. I mean, I love going out and eating oysters. And they do have, for the rest of the menu, they have a pretty extensive raw bar with oysters, clam, shrimp, ceviche, shellfish, chowder. Say that 3 times fast. They have steamed shellfish, soups and salads, quesadilla. I mean, it's a pretty good lunch menu for not being their full dinner menu. It is still pretty extensive.
Yeah. Very good. And I thought it was great prices, as Moose mentioned. Yeah. So for a lunch date at a fancy place. The seafood's always so fresh, though. It's so nice. You can see it back there on ice. Like it's fantastic.
Right.
All right.
McNally, let's give it a rating.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay. It probably could have gone a little higher if the tacos were just missing that, whether that was an extra shrimp or a little like a sauce or a pico or something. But 8 out of 10. It was very good. And I've been there before for dinner and had, the whatever they call it, the low country boil with, with all the sausage, the oysters, So I've been there before and enjoyed the fresh seafood aspect.
Fantastic. I give it 8.5 out of 10.
Any reason for rear score?
I know that everybody enjoys the concept of that community seating, but I do think it limits your crowd that you go with. Yeah. Whether it be number of people or whether it be the type of people you're going with. It is if you want to talk to the people that you're there with, you have to find a corner.
You got to find a corner, and don't do it on live music night. That's tough.
That's right. Yeah. It's super tough. Sure. And so I do feel like while that is kind of a cool, trendy thing to do, there's still not as much. You just have to think about it a little bit more if you're going there with a group. I liked their lunch, and I thought the food was great. I wish the atmosphere was a little bit more friendlier, or a little friendlier to the masses.
Right. So in other words, so you just can't take a party of like 8 or something like that.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, this is not the type of place that you can take a client, maybe.
Right.
Because it is or that's my opinion at least,
Well, you'd be sitting next to people.
That's right. It's a new person maybe, or maybe it's another couple that you've just recently become friends with. It's really much more of an intimate friendship type place, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. It might be like a first date type place.
Right. You've got to be there with people that you already know and can talk over and can reach over or anything else. We sat Moose, Tracy, and then Tracy was on the corner. Then McNally was on the other part of the corner, and then me. And, Moose and I were kind of talking catty corner, but it's hard to always
couldn't have had another person there and talk.
No, you couldn't have gone deeper.
I also think if you have children, so how with your kids, especially when they're young, you want to sock them into the booth where you got control and they can't get out. They can't get out, and you can poke them if they're doing something. Because of the way that seating is, if they're further down and not in the range to reel in. Plus, they could also then be in other people's conversations.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
and everything's high top. on metal chairs, which I know sometimes is just not as comfortable. Yeah, it's just not, But the food's fantastic, and it is. I think it's a great date night. It's a wonderful date night, and in a group of 4, like 2 couples, double date type thing. It's a wonderful place for that.
Yeah, and I also think it's different. That's what makes it cool.
Yes.
Is it's not the same kind of a restaurant that you're
Absolutely.
just typically used to going to.
Right.
That's correct.
My turn to rate, huh?
Yeah.
I give it a solid 5.7 out of 7.
Seriously?
So in do it. It's like 85 or something like that. 82.
You can't do math.
Yeah. Sure.
Why the 5.7?
I don't know. I think that there need to be more protein on the tacos.
Yes.
81.4.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like just over your 8 point something.
5.
I like the way that the bar's set up. I really do. I like that. I like that date night atmosphere. It's a great setup. It's a great little spot for Viewmont. Tucked away into a strip mall. You'd have never thunk that would have ever been there if you didn't know any wiser. So I'm going to go back. I'll go back for lunch. I thought the pick 3 deal that Tracy and I both got today was
That's good value.
very
good
very
value.
for the money. It's where it's at. Tracy.
I go 7.5, and the reason is I didn't get involved in the oysters, which look like superstars on that sampler. I also love raw oysters, and I'm traveling at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and I just thought, maybe I shouldn't, be sucking down oysters with hot sauce and
Yes.
horseradish.
Yep.
And oysters always go better with cocktails and
and
beers,
a beer,
right?
you gotta have a beer with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think for lunch, though, portions for even the 3 are small comparative to portions in many restaurants in our area.
Agreed.
I think there could have been a little pico de gallo, maybe a little bit more fish on the fish taco. Now that crab bisque, though,
Fantastic.
Winner.
fantastic winner.
Yeah.
So enjoyed it very much.
Awesome.
Great. Well, I think it's a definite plus from all of us that Hickory has the Standard Oyster Company. Again, we encourage you to go check that out over in Viewmont in the strip mall where Granny's is. In fact, they share a kitchen.
They do. It's the same folks.
Same family. One's the older part of the family, one's the younger part of the family.
Granny's is good,
You
too,
figure
though.
out which one. Granny's is legit. I love me some Granny's.
Granny's is legit.
I do love Granny's. All right, guys. We did it again.
Here we go.
Another whole episode under our belts. Guys, got anything else to add?
Yeah, I want to thank the boys from Rigid AV back there. They're demoing some new podcasting equipment.
Rigid AV.
Yeah, you can check them out on social media and their website and all that good stuff. If you need any audio-visual needs, they will help you out with them for
And
sure.
that's probably why we sound so crisp and pretty.
Does it make me sound better?
After some editing.
Thumbs up from the
They'll
control
give you a
room.
thumbs up, whatever. We'll see. We'll be the judge
We
of
get to
that,
hear you in there.
Rigid.
They get to hear through filters. That probably helps.
That's right. All right. So we're going to get going and hopefully see you guys the rest of the summer enjoying some of our episodes. But if you are not familiar with all the other episodes that The Mesh has to offer, please go check out themesh.tv, which is our website, which you can find any of the shows and all the episodes. Then also on social media, Facebook, Instagram. We keep those up to date to let you know what's happening and show you some behind-the-scenes photos and videos and whatnot
That's
as
right.
well.
Don't forget to subscribe and share.
Subscribe, like us, share us, everything. If you are someone in the area that wants to give a recommendation of a restaurant we should eat at or a location that we should go, because we also do experience visits, then you can shoot us a message on one of those avenues or give us a call at 828-619-0048. All right. Until next time, say goodbye, boys.
Goodbye, boys.
Love where you live, Mary Margaret.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.